Welcome to Zone in Sports, where we cover everything, all sports. We got a good show ahead of you guys today. Before we get the show started, I want to send my condolences out to everyone out there in the Florida State family. And, we know you guys going through some things right now. We know you guys going through some things out there in Florida State. So we just want to send our condolences. But before I let each speak on that, still on October 4th, we still gonna come up there and put belt the ass. Oh, go ahead, there. How's it going there, E?
Yeah, we go. Condolences to the people that lost their life up in Tallahassee. It's not nothing funny what happened up there. This is just a sign of our time right now in our country. Some people just take things to the extreme. And unfortunately, 2 people lost their life and a few people were shot. And here we are again. So having said that, my condolences to the families. Warm wishes to those who got injured for a speedy recovery, and to the student body at Florida State. Hopefully they can get over this. It will take time, get through this, and move forward as a university. Yes, and like you said, on a side note, we'll be up there in, when is it, November?
October 4th, right?
Right, 6 days before my birthday, we'll be up there, and we'll give you guys a great gift.
Yeah, belt the ass. Okay. All right, well, hey, this is one of my favorite topics here. We're going to talk about the Ring of Honor. We're going to start off with that. And I can honestly say this is one of my better classes, with Ken Dorsey and Andre Johnson and them. So we're going to start off with Ken Dorsey, 38-2 as a starter, which I don't think we're going to see that again in our lifetime, because guys ain't staying at school 4 or 5, 3 to 4 years at one school.
They're not going to stay all 4 years like he did.
Yeah, right. Career passing touchdowns, 86. Second in career passing yards, 9,565. You know who was number one, or do anybody know who was number one career passing at Miami?
Was it Ward?
No, for the duration that they were there.
Oh, I would think it might have been, gosh darn, not Jim Kelly, but number 7.
No, believe it or not, I will give you. It was after him, Brad Kaya.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Kaya.
Yeah, 9,965 yards, 2014 through 2016. So let's speak on Ken a little bit. Great career at university. One of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, I really liked watching Kenny. I miss quarterbacks under center. I miss that offense that Chudzinski ran, that I formation. I thought it was lethal, especially with the tight end. Kenny wasn't the greatest passer. His balls weren't the sharpest, the crispest passes. He didn't really zip it in there, but he had weapons, and he was a great game manager.
Yeah.
That was his skill set. He could manage the game. He didn't make very many mistakes. He made some, like we all do.
Right.
He didn't make very many mistakes, and he was afforded all the weaponry around him coming in. I mean, he got baptized in the game at Virginia Tech his sophomore year.
Yeah.
When Kenny Kelly got hurt, and they lost that game in '99. He came in as a sophomore, or was it a sophomore? Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? Wait a minute, hold up. Let me think back.
No, he was a freshman. He was a freshman. He was a freshman.
2000.
He came in the game. It was '99. They were at Virginia Tech, because in 2000 they only lost one game, and that was to Washington. Right. They went out to the second game. It was '99. It was at Tech. He missed a touchdown pass to Moss, to Santana, that was open, and Santana was a little upset about that, but they went after him. Virginia Tech knew he was a freshman. He was a deer in headlights, and they went after him because Kenny Kelly got hurt. But he kind of got baptized in that game, and then he came out in 2000.
He's on fire.
And he was, as a sophomore, he showed you why he was all that.
Yeah.
Especially as a game manager, as a leader in the locker room, as a leader in the huddle. So I really, when I think of quarterbacks, even with Ward, the first one I think of in recent times for me would be him. I think of Dorsey. I really think of Dorsey. I'm not even gonna go back to the 80s.
Right.
I think Kenny Kelly did his thing, but he went on to play baseball with Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and then that opened the door for Kenny. I mean, he came all the way from California to play for Miami. He could have went anywhere. Same with DJ Williams. Miami didn't have facilities. Miami didn't have an indoor facility. They didn't have the best facilities, but they had the reputation of being some dogs.
Yeah.
And they need to get back to that. These schools want to sell uniforms and they want to sell equipment. And they want to sell what conference they're in. And they not selling that, hey, we got a pack of dogs down here and we all on the same page and we fight with each other. We scrap with each other. Our practices are harder than the games. So when we go play the game, it's easy.
Right.
So, and I don't think you'll see a quarterback play 4 years, especially one that won a national title in their junior year, could have went pro and come back their senior year and should have won another one.
Right. And he was a 2001 most valuable player in football. Won an award that year.
He won the award that year.
Two-time Archie Griffith Award winner. So,
and I think that's where the disdain for Miami got restarted again, because remember in the 2002 season, they had him and McGahee up for the Heisman.
Right.
And they did that on purpose. I don't think, as much as I like Dorsey, he shouldn't have been in the running because he took votes away from, he didn't take the votes away. His nomination took votes away from McGahee.
Right.
That was Willis's Heisman, how they could give it to Carson Palmer. You could argue for Palmer to be in there.
Palmer had a good year.
He had a great year. Yeah. Was his year better than Dorsey's? I would have to see the stats next to each other.
Right.
But that was Willis's, that was his.
Yeah.
So I thought them putting Dorsey in there was a strategic move by other outside entities to keep Kane from winning another Heisman. Right. That's my opinion. But for him to show I can win a national title my junior year, I could lose Clinton Portis, I could lose a Shockey, I could lose he lost Moss the year before. Right. He lost a few guys on the defense and offense off that team. Mm-hmm. And to come back as him and Andre Johnson, they both could have went pro.
Right.
That's something these kids today don't do that. If they got an opportunity to go pro, they're gonna go pro.
Right.
Whereas back then, it's like, hey, let's run it back and win another one. We're gonna go pro anyway. We're going pro anyway. We're gonna be first round picks anyway.
Right.
But now it's all about the money and people put in your head, well, what if you get hurt? Then nobody told Andre Johnson, what if you get hurt? What if they didn't tell Dorsey, well, what if you get hurt your senior year? Nobody said that to them.
I agree.
The only juniors I think that left was Shockey. He had nothing else to prove, and you had a dog behind him waiting.
You're right.
And Portis had McGahee behind him waiting. So and Gore. So they had nothing really left to prove. So they decided to go pro. Dorsey decided to stay.
Right. And before we move on to Andre Johnson, we're on this topic of guys leaving and guys going in the Ring of Honor. I picked the question in the chat. And it says, should a one-year player be in the Ring of Honor? And that's at any school, or have their jersey retired. And I touched on that, and I don't want to get too much off of it because of the Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders retired the jersey.
That's all publicity, in my opinion. And you're going to have your Deion people out there. The first thing they're going to say is, oh, you hating on Deion. You hating on him and his son. No, it's not about hating on them. But before you retire his son number, Cordell Stewart did a whole lot more at Colorado than what Shedeur ever could have done.
Yeah, and they were trying to bring up Cordell's stats, but it's always context. Offensive has changed from what it was back then and now. And it's more
played 30 years ago at Colorado.
Right.
94 when he threw the Hail Mary against Michigan.
Right.
Okay. If I'm not taking nothing away from Shedeur, but I'm sorry. This is all this is all part of Deion hype thing, and I guess I can't blame him. He doing it. They got Colorado letting him do it, so I'm like, all right, we'll go ahead and do it. Let's fine.
Well, because we're going to run into the thing that maybe some people think Cam should be in there in the next one, just 1 year. Should be in the Ring of Honor.
And I'm not saying Cam don't, but not right now.
Yeah. So okay.
Sue for that.
All right, we're going to move on. I seen that out there, and I was kind of conflicted. I'm just thinking, like, if you're in a Ring of Honor, it's what have you done to the university over a period of time. My personal opinion. I mean, anybody could come in, have a great year, but you got guys that have bled 3-4 years at a university, put a lot of equity in, and those guys I think should. So we're going to move on. Andre Johnson, Hall of Famer, of course, played,
Track star.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Big East, matter of fact, champ, 60 meter and 100 meter, 92 receptions, 1,831 yards, and 20 touchdowns. Let's talk on him. Hey, watched highlights of him last night. Just, man, amazing. That's all I can say.
He is one of the Miami Hurricanes in line to show you that not only was I great in college, I took it to the next level, and you heard my name be great for the Houston Texans and put up big numbers.
Right.
So there aren't that many other schools, if any, that can say that about their guys. All these other schools put guys in the league and then they kind of fade, or you hear their name, but they're not playmakers in the league.
Right.
Miami has had playmakers in the league.
Yes, sir.
They were playmakers in college, and then when they got to the NFL, they became playmakers. And Miami's had some really, as of late, you could say Ohio State is wide receiver view. For a minute, Clemson was saying it because they put guys in the league.
Right.
Now, do you hear their name a lot in the league? Not really. They not putting up them type of numbers. They make it. Okay, congratulations. No knock on that. But
right.
You had guys from Miami that went in the NFL at wide receiver and made names for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Santana Moss. I'm talking about
Edge,
Irvin, Brett Perriman, Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
I can go on with names of guys that was killing it in college, and then they got to the NFL and they killed it in the NFL.
Right.
So Andre Johnson is just another name that you can etch up there, that their names are going to be at the top.
Right. And when you think of true Ring of Honor guys, like you say,
if you get the best NFL players in the last 40 years at each position, first, second, or third string, I promise you, every single position going to have a Hurricane. Damn near every position going to have a Hurricane player.
Yeah, I agree.
I guarantee it. Every position on the offense and defense is going to have a Miami Hurricane there, either first string, second string, or third string. And no other school can say that.
And we're going to move on. And since you mentioned that, with one of the best to ever do it, tackle, didn't allow a sack in 2 seasons, which is just amazing. You're talking Orlando Pace type stuff here. 2-time All-American, Outland Trophy winner for the best offensive lineman in 2001. We're talking about Brian McKinney. One of the best they ever do it.
And I'm going to say this. Orlando Pace is one of the best. I put them two as the best in the last probably 30 years.
In college,
as tackles. You know, I give the slight edge to McKinney because of his size, and he was excellent with his hands. What can you say, man? I haven't seen a tackle his size do what he can do yet. You know, there's some that have come close. Miami got a couple big boys, but he was 6'9", 350 or 370 or something. He wasn't fat. He was just a big dude. And I got pictures of him with his arms out and Dorsey behind him. Like, Kenny didn't have to worry about nothing on that blind left side when he's dropping that.
The man didn't give up a sack in 2 seasons.
Give up a sack for 2 years.
That's crazy.
And he went up against Dwight Freeney from Syracuse.
Yeah.
Okay. And Freeney was killing it.
Yeah.
Every year, Dwight Freeney was killing it at defensive end until he went up against Mount McKinney.
Yeah.
He shut him down. Everybody else, he was getting sacks, contained, all-world defensive end. But when he played against Miami, Dwight Freeney was a non-factor because Big Bryant put the hold on him, and now I mean literally, but he put the hold on him and pumped his brakes, and it was the end of his
right.
game.
He a massive old guy, boy.
Dude was massive, man. He just to be protected by him in the passing game, to run behind him. They had some great tackles, him and Gonzalez on each end. And I think Miami this year is going to come close to replicating that this year with the line they got.
Like I say, I'm a Colt fan. He said all about the U. Hey, that's what's up, my boy.
I mean, is Reggie Wayne in there too?
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some of the old ones, but the next one here, I think this guy here, the epitome of Miami football, 4-year starter, 4 years, leads Miami career
JV.
tackles. Huh?
You talking about JV?
I'm talking about Dan Morgan.
Oh,
532 tackles. The only Miami player to have 100 tackles in each of his seasons. 3 All Big Ten selections, 2000 first team All-American. The first player in college football history to win a Bernardic Trophy, the Buckets, and the Lombardi Trophy. We're talking about Dan Morgan, one of my favorite players. Right.
And Defensive Player of the Year, 2000.
Yes, sir.
To me, he was Miami's best middle linebacker.
Yeah.
I think you can go him and Barrow and Lewis and Vilma. It's hard to say. I'm not going to say, I just think if I had to pick right now who I want to start, I'm picking Dan Morgan. I'm not even going to hesitate. And I love Barrow. Did Barrow play the middle or did Armstead play the middle? Whichever one. Out of all the linebackers, I'm taking him first.
Yeah.
I'm taking him first. I'm not even going to hesitate. He's my starter now. We're going to have to rotate. Yes, it was. The man
rotate some guys in.
If I got to rotate, that's fine because that's what they do nowadays. Right. I'll rotate Lewis in or Barrow or Vilma. All I know is whoever I'm playing against, you're going to see back-to-back killers, and they're going to get a breather, and then somebody else going to come in there and work you over. But this dude here, this guy here, man, was – a run stopper, could cover tight ends, could cover backs out the backfield, sideline to sideline.
And nasty.
Wasn't scared of nothing.
Yeah, nasty.
And just nasty with it. Come on, man. Come on, man. Shoot.
All right. And some of the notables, of course, we got some coaches that now this 2023, just want to bring them up just to put some context. You got Dennis Erickson, Jimmy Johnson, Chuck Foreman. 21, you got Howard Schnellenberger. And this 2017 class in a Ring of Honor, you got Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Warren Sapp, Sean Taylor. 2014 class, Jerome Brown and Russell Maryland, both studs. 2009, Benny Blades, Eddie Dunn, Steve Walsh, another one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Walsh was another good one, yes, sir.
Yeah. And then 2008, you got the Edge, Jim Kelly, Cortez Kennedy, man. Jim Otto and Gino Torretta. And then Otis Anderson, this is 1999. Bernie Kosar.
Sleep on Otis Anderson. I remember.
Otis Anderson.
I remember watching him as a kid with the Cardinals before he went to the Giants. When he was with the St. Louis Cardinals, people sleep on Otis Anderson, man.
Right. And it's crazy because I look at this and then before 1997, they don't have anybody. And if anybody knows in the chat what happened before 1997, or did they not do it before 1997? I'm not really sure.
They was going through all the sanctions and stuff, and Butch Davis just got the job, and Miami wasn't trying to have any extra eyes on them for anything at that period. You know what I mean? It was coming out of the Erickson era. Butch Davis came in. They weren't that great. They lost 33 scholarships. They had track guys walking on. Santana walked on.
Right.
A few other guys walked on. Some of the guys had to quit because Butch Davis' style of coaching wasn't the same as Dennis Erickson. He put his foot down with a lot of stuff.
Right.
So at that time, Miami was not in a very good place, and I don't think they needed the extra attention, and they probably felt like, I could be wrong, but maybe they felt like this wasn't the time to have no Ring of Honors right now.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's interesting.
It was in the Ring of Fire right back, 96, 97 back then.
Right. So that's just an interesting. I just didn't know why they didn't have anything before.
That's my guess, Dwayne. I'm guessing that's
If anybody knows for sure, hey, feel free to let us know because it's just interesting because they had great players and just wanted to know. Now, before we switch gears, I'm gonna play something so we can put it in context. So let me know if you guys can hear it out there. And can you hear that?
I ain't hear.
Okay, you couldn't hear that? Okay. Well, we're gonna come back. It was the Ryan Clark talking about Carson Beck and Coach Cristobal. And the crazy thing about that,
he doubled down on what he said.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that in this whole, if you listen to the whole interview, he didn't even have to bring up Carson Beck or Mario Cristobal. So, and then he didn't know what he was talking about.
When he don't know what let me tell you something. I went on his Twitter page, his X page, and I called him a clown. He's a clown. If you're watching this, and we're probably not, but you a clown, Ryan Clark. You a clown for that. Because first of all, Miami never paid Carson Beck $4 million.
Right.
There are legitimate sources that already said Carson Beck did not get $4 million. Secondly, for somebody that's supposed to know football, for you to compare the Nico kid to Carson Beck is just, where do you get the premise for this? I mean, the guy is nice. He got a rocket for an arm. He's tall. He's 6'6". He can throw the ball. But his resume compared to Beck's is, there's no comparison.
Yeah, it's laughable, actually.
You want to blame Georgia's demise last year on Carson Beck when they had an average at best offensive line. Your wide receiver group was the number one wide receiver group in the country, drops. Your running game was in the 100s, ranked in the hundreds.
Right.
In the running game. But now it's all Beck fault.
Right, right.
Kirby knew he had some. Kirby lost so many pieces from that 23 squad that it showed up in 24.
Yeah.
So now you want to put it all on the shoulders of Carson Beck, and it's his fault. He running for his life because the offensive line ain't worth crap.
And the funny part about that you say that is, before you finish, is I remember before that the championship, before the college football championship started, they were saying if Carson Beck would have played, they could have won the national championship. But all of a sudden, he a bum.
Now he ain't the guy. And now you want to blame. This is so typical of Ryan Clark, clown. Dude is a clown. You want to sit up here and, you pocket watching Miami.
Right.
But you wasn't pocket watching nobody else. You wasn't pocket watching Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State. See what kind of money they was paying for people even before the NIL. You knew what was going on. Right. Now all of a sudden you want to pocket watch the Hurricanes. You want to throw Cristobal under the bus and throw mud at the school for what?
Because he don't like what Cristobal said when he made that first statement, and they're trying to. Okay, when I look at Ryan Clark, this is what he does, and this is what I don't like. He want to kind of, and I'm saying this with respect, he want to kind of race bait the situation. And that's what he doing. And there's no reason to even bring these two and try to formulate an opinion off of what Carson Beck has gotten in his career.
It's none of his business or anybody else's business what Carson Beck got paid.
Right.
Worry about your school. Worry about your program and what they're doing.
Right.
Why are you out here paying attention to what Miami does? And then if you're going to speak on it, at least get the facts right.
Yeah.
He's not getting $4 million.
Right.
Miami is not paying Carson Beck $4 million. There are 3 or 4 viable sources close to the school that have already verified he ain't getting that money. Right. He ain't getting no money like that.
And even if he did,
it's nobody's business.
Carson Beck did not show up for a spring game. Carson Beck didn't choose not to.
Yeah, he didn't sit out.
Yeah, he didn't choose not to say, I'm holding out for money. That's on him.
If you look at Tennessee's passing attack last year, they were ranked higher than 90 in Division I football.
Yeah.
The year before, under Henderson, what's his name, Hooker, that transferred from Virginia Tech, Tennessee was in the top 10 in the passing game under Hooker at quarterback.
Oh, yeah, Hooker. Okay, yeah.
Okay, he transferred from Virginia Tech, went to Tennessee in 23, and lit it up. Now he leaves, he gets drafted. This kid comes in. He nice. I'm not taking nothing away from the kid.
No, he's nice, yeah.
But he didn't put up Hooker-type numbers. He didn't put up Beck-type numbers.
Right.
He didn't put up Ward-type numbers. It's a number of quarterbacks. They were in the 90s in the passing game.
Right.
Tennessee.
I didn't want to raise. but
he didn't even put up the numbers old boy in Ole Miss did.
Right.
In the SEC.
Hey.
Ole Miss quarterback.
And Lane Kiffin tried to throw a little jab out there too. I caught what he said too, talking about, did you see what we did to Carson Beck? You know, he got $4 million. He tried to sneak this on the side too, but he need to worry about Ole Miss too. Before he be out of job.
They worried, man. That's why they talking. They talking because they're worried. They worried about what Miami is about to do. That's what they worried about. They worried about this year being better than last year. Like I've told you last week and 2 weeks ago, I'm cautiously optimistic about this season. I think Miami going to really surprise some people and not in the negative way.
Right.
Everybody thinks they're going to take a step back because the schedule is harder and Beck is the quarterback and he ain't Ward. Get Ward out your mouth.
Right.
This is going to be a totally different squad. This defense is going to be completely different. It's some guys in the portal. My goodness.
Yeah.
You got some heat out there in that portal.
Right.
I'm talking wide receiver, defensive tackle, linebacker, safety. You got some top-notch guys available in that portal. And if you don't think Mario Cristobal looking at all of them,
right.
If he could get 2 or 3 of them,
right,
man, please. I'm 2 of them at wide receiver, 2 wide receivers, a safety, a defensive tackle, the linebacker out of Utah.
Yeah,
that was tied to Cristobal when he was at Oregon.
Yeah,
bad dude. It's some bad dudes in this portal that's up for grabs now.
Yeah.
So I'm just, this whole situation with Tennessee, his daddy messing this up for him.
Yeah, his team, his daddy, his team.
His
yeah,
daddy mess. I'm quoting my man that I saw on the internet. He reminds you the voice of college football. He reminds you of the Ball brothers' daddy, but he don't have the same he don't have the same charisma as they do.
Right. Yeah.
And Syracuse head coach put old boy on blast for him wanting to leave. That Pena kid wanting to leave because a lot of these kids don't want to play their role, man. Are you gonna be the player or you're not a coach? Don't worry
you're
about
not a coach.
You just worry about playing.
Yeah.
So I really think right now what Ryan Clark did, I thought that was a clown move. I could say more, but that was a clown move on his part. Right. To even go out there and have Miami come out of his mouth to bring up Mario like that.
It was no reason for it.
There was no reason for that, man. Especially if you don't have your facts straight. And we don't have the platform to go call him out on ESPN or Fox.
Right. Oh, yes, we do. As you know how? You guys can share this video. Share it to his page.
Because Ryan Clark, you a clown for that.
Yeah, share it to his page. Put us out there.
St. Louis, you a clown. That was some clown stuff what he did, man. What do you get all your ducks in a row before you make comparisons? Dude is not as good as Beck. I'm sorry.
Right.
You can't blame Georgia's season on Carson Beck. You wasn't saying that shit when they was losing to Alabama. I was in Miami. Remember that game? And he let them back.
Yep.
And he led them back. And why did they lose? Because his receiver couldn't catch a touchdown in the end zone.
Right.
The ex-Miami guy.
The
one that left Miami.
Not Horton. Horton?
No, what was his name?
I know his name.
He left Miami to go to Georgia, and then he dropped the touchdown the first time, and then the second time he didn't even try to go for it and let the Bama defender get the pick. When Carson Beck let Georgia all the way back in that second half, everybody was like, "Uh-oh, Georgia coming back now."
Right. Hey.
So, like I said, Georgia stunk it up in a lot of different categories on offense. Drop passes, the running game, protection for Carson Beck. Right. And now you want to hang this crap out here about this guy from Tennessee when his numbers really can't even compare to Beck numbers. I'm sorry. Right. 1 year.
1 year.
And you 90 something, you above 90 in the passing game statistically. When the year before Tennessee was in the top 10 with Hendon Hooker at quarterback. Right. Man, Ryan Clark needs to stop. He need to be quiet. Yeah. The fact that you didn't even get the numbers right about how much Beck is getting paid says to me you need to shut up. Go talk about something. Go back on your podcast and talk to NBA players.
Well, even that he get that wrong too. So we
go talk to the NBA players. Y'all got a nice little thing going. I like y'all interviews. Go back to doing that and keep Miami out your mouth, man, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think the thing with those guys and the hate coming in, like I said, you could tell the true hate. It's just that it's two things going on, in my opinion, especially when they start talking about Crystal Ball and even the coach of even Josh Heupel. The ex-players are trying to rally around these players to make it seem like they're not the problem, that it's the system. But the system did not make you skip the spring game.
Nope.
So, I mean, they're trying to make excuses for these players when there's no excuse to be made. Show up, do your job. You under contract just like anything else. And we'll just leave that alone there, you know, because like I'm with you on Ryan Clark, and I tried to rock with him on some things. But we're going to talk about Trevor Pena in the portal, trying to come, being recruited, 84 receptions, 941 yards, 9 touchdowns. Also return punts too. Also, so Mario on his heels.
I'm torn on that one because he's a senior. He could be a leader in the locker room. He's a veteran at the receiver position, and Miami's a bit young at the receiver position. But again, Syracuse coach kind of called him out. You come into the locker room. You come into the coach's office. And you worried about the scheme. You worried about what other players are you trying to get. That ain't for you to worry about, man.
Well, who did that sound like? It sound like Nico, don't it? So
you worried about all that when you should be worried about catching and blocking for your running back when you are called upon to block for your running back. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. There may be some other receivers I might want to try and go and get besides this guy because he ain't worth the money he won't either.
Yeah.
He's nice. Now, don't get me wrong. He put up some nice numbers. He even got into Miami ass a little bit in that game.
Yeah.
He put up some good numbers all year. But what kind of player am I getting?
Right.
Am I getting a player that want to be a player/negotiator coach, or am I going to get somebody that's all out to the team, going to sell himself out for the team? And do what's best for the team and leave the coaching to the coaches.
Right.
And leave the scheme to whatever scheme that somebody run. So I'm not sure, man. Some of these kids out here today, and I knew this NIL would do this. They think they worth this and worth that. And to me, you're more valuable of a player if you are committed to being a team player and putting the team first versus yourself. And there's too many people out here now. They got the me first attitude.
Yeah, I agree. And that's crazy because when I look at that, and it going to kind of subway into we talking about Zaquan Patterson, and I hate even to use this, but a source, and it's weird me saying a source, but since I'm on here, I got people that send me information through email and don't want to reveal who they are. So, and I know some people don't like people using sources, but I understand. But basically, a source told me one of the reasons, it could be many, but one of the reasons was that he had trouble making it to film study on time and some practices on time, amongst some other things, and they mutually decide to depart. So
that could be. I mean, he didn't say nothing bad about Miami. You saw what his departing tweet was and whatnot. He spoke highly of everybody. He just said it wasn't the right place for me.
Right.
That told me it wasn't the school.
Yeah.
That told me it was him.
Yeah. There was some stuff going on.
And I'm not going to knock the kid, whatever he got going on. That's what he got going on. Everybody got different circumstances and situations in their lives.
Right.
And, hey, more power to him. God bless him, and I ain't mad at him. So I mean, I don't think he's leaving for no money.
Nah. At least it don't sound like it.
It don't sound to me like he's leaving for money. I don't think money really is playing a part in this.
Right.
Like he just said, it just maybe some things that coach had were a little bit more demanding than what he wanted.
Yeah.
If that's the case with him being late to meetings and films and all that, if that's the case. I don't know what it is. Maybe he wants to go, just like he said, maybe it just wasn't the right atmosphere for him. Maybe he'll fit in somewhere else better. And that's great.
Yeah,
that's great for him, man. I want to see the boy eat. I want to see the boy eat well, get drafted in the years to come. And hey, he didn't do Miami wrong. He was one of the few bright spots in the secondary that Miami had, coming in as a freshman playing safety like that. So
right
under Guidry's system.
Yeah. Yeah. So
maybe he don't fit Heatherman's system the same way. Or like I said, maybe it is a meetings issue and being on time and a punctuality type thing. Maybe not. We don't know, but I wish the kid the best.
Yeah. He
didn't badmouth the coaching staff or the players or the school or the student body. It's got to be something for somebody to want to leave Miami.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes, like you say, when you got your new coordinators coming in, kind of like Heatherman, it could have been some discussions behind the scenes.
If he's down there, maybe he wants to go somewhere different. Sometimes kids want to go somewhere different and see something different. And like I said, I always wondered how in the world did my man get away from Miami to go play for the Chiefs, defensive end that died in the car wreck.
Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas. His daddy was a B-52 pilot.
Yeah.
During the Vietnam War. I said, how did Jimmy let this dude get away from Miami to go to Alabama? And it was just a case of wanting to go somewhere different, see something different. I'm going from Miami, Florida to slow, dusty Tuscaloosa, Alabama back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it worked out for him. Some kids just want to go somewhere different.
Yeah. All right. And before we switch subjects, I do want to shout out, it's a guy that came off the CBC team with Jeremiah Love, spoke to his dad yesterday, Mike Thiessen Jr. He was playing ball down at Missouri State, just hopped in the portal. And he's being looked at by Texas A&M, Northwestern, Syracuse. I think he narrowed it down to those 3 or 4. I don't want to be specific, but hey, best of luck. I hope little Mike get out there and get picked up by one of these people.
What position he play?
He played linebacker. He played linebacker at CBC. Actually, he was a defensive player of the year on that team out of Missouri. So I'm looking for some big things at him.
Good luck to him, man.
Good luck to him. I know
Missouri ain't trying to look at him.
Yeah, I was shocked too, but I know he kind of wanted. Well, I don't want to speak for him, but if I'm a betting man, I'm thinking he might be leaning towards Texas A&M. And if it does, hey, shout out to you and the best of luck to you, bro.
It's between them and who else?
Syracuse, Northwestern, and a couple other schools I know for sure.
Well, he's a smart young man. So Northwestern is about academics, and that's Big Ten football.
Yeah.
A&M ain't about academics. That's oil town, and College Station ain't. I'll leave it at it's Texas.
Right. Big time football though. So
outside of that, ain't much in College Station, Texas. But hey, wherever he goes, good luck to him, man.
Yeah.
I was hoping we'd look at him, but
yeah. Hey, let's put this up here. It says David Stone from Oklahoma or Murad Watson has way more snaps from Syracuse than Florida.
I'm taking Stone. I ain't even know. Oklahoma misused Stone. Didn't even get his weight up.
Yeah.
Didn't even get his weight up. I know he gonna get to Miami, and the first thing they're gonna do is get his whole weight up a little bit, strength, and let him. I think he would progress under Heatherman's style of play. Just get it, get in your gap and get it.
Yeah.
Because he was Rusty was a dude from way down the Ozarks, old Rusty.
Yeah.
The Stone kid, remember when he was making his picks out of high school, he had an Oklahoma hat and a Miami hat on the table.
Right.
He was this close to picking Miami.
Yeah.
He picked Oklahoma. And now being down there, he changed his diet. He cleaned up his body. He dropped some body fat. And that's why they said he was the most improved player. He had a great spring.
Yep.
And now they all shocked as to why he want to go. Well, he sees that Oklahoma ain't gonna do nothing in the SEC.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. They should have kept their butts in the Big 12. But anyway, that's another story. That's on Oklahoma.
Yeah. And Martin, we're trying to send y'all one down there. We're trying to get Cantwell to come down that way. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we're trying to get Cantwell. You
damn
try
to get you a blue chipper down there.
He might not be a D tackle, but he's
offensive tackle.
He's 6'3". Yeah, he is 315. He slimmed up. He changed up his diet. He said it himself. He cut out a lot of certain foods. He dropped a lot of body fat, but he gained some muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And if he could be along the line with a Justin Scott and Moulton, and they can rotate these dudes, man, Miami would not only have the best D-line in the ACC, they'd be in the top 5 of the whole country. Now, what does that say about the program if both sides of the ball are top 5 on the line?
Got 5-star athletes on both sides, you get them. So
all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place.
We ain't had nothing like that in a minute.
Yeah.
We might have had one. Who was the cornerback that Tracy Howard was a 5-star? That was a big get for Al Golden. I remember I watched that draft class. That was like 2012 or 2013 when they got Tracy Howard. That was huge. Every now and then Miami got a 5-star. Now it seemed like they getting them. Either right out of high school or through the portal, they're starting to get them.
Right.
25 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. So, hey, if they could pull that off, and like you said,
him, oh my God, you get this boy here, man. That D-line gonna be wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just looking at, I'm still a little concerned about what they're gonna do with safety at the safety position.
There's a kid I just watched earlier. Yeah. There's a young man out of the University of Houston, #1 safety on the transfer portal. Another one. There he is. Are you worried about safety? There he is with Patterson leaving. This Dylan Joyce dude, he's supposed to be the truth, though.
Yeah, so they need to shore that up. I just think just for even depth purposes, because you just know.
I think Mario going after all these dudes. He might even go after Pena, too. They might have to, but Pena got options.
Yeah. He
got options besides Miami. He got a lot of other schools that, Georgia looking at him. It's other schools. I know Ohio State looking at him. Other schools are looking at him. But outside of him, the Oklahoma kid, the safety out of Houston.
Yep.
The linebacker out of BYU, get him.
Get him.
Get him.
More depth.
Wide receiver out there. I forgot. I was watching the Rock Boys. They was talking about it. These some top-notch dudes on that board, and you don't think Mario going after him, and your boy at Oregon trying to get it too, because
the Atlantic,
because he had a lot of fruit left on the tree from when Mario was there.
Yeah.
He got that job.
Yeah.
Mario
got a lot of fruit.
Mario left a tree full of oranges and apples for him.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to compete with Miami as far as getting guys. So okay.
Yeah. We got about 14 people in the deal to smash that like button out there and share this content so we can get out there. They're going to say it would be our best D-line since 89 with Maryland, Kennedy, Jones. Yeah.
By far the best D-line. Because the best D-line since that line, I would have to say, would be the 2000 squad, the 02 squad, the 01 squad, when Will Fork was a freshman.
Yeah.
You had McDougal and William Joseph on the line. And them guys were really good. But this right here, if they get this kid from Oklahoma,
right,
along with the other 5-star that Miami got last year,
right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
we don't need another slot. We got some slot guys. Malachi Tony showed you. Look, I'm ready to step in now and be that dude.
Yeah,
we and there is a tall outside receiver that's out there in the portal.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Mario looking at this. Kevin Beard looking at it. I ain't worried about it. I'm not worried about it. The rest of the ACC need to be worried. Florida need to be worried because Florida in trouble. They losing people. They losing people like in the movie Outbreak, like it's a disease. They losing people.
Hey, like I say, it's just crazy.
They was worried about Billy Napier last year. Y'all need to worry about Billy Napier this year because I said Florida could be a surprise, but that was before they started losing people like crazy.
Yeah, it's some interesting things going on down there. I mean, well, up there in Tallahassee. I mean, Gainesville. But
poor Florida State. Aside from what happened, I'm just they got a big time wide receiver, but who gonna throw him the ball?
Yeah. Well, I digress on that.
Poor Tallahassee. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I ain't talking about what happened the other day. I'm talking about football wise. Norvell just in a really bad situation right now. I know deep down he should have kept his ass at Memphis.
Well, I don't even know how to answer that, but
he stayed at Memphis.
I think Norvell thought that,
he thought that money was good in Florida State. Oh, I'm going.
Hell, the money is good in Florida State.
He had a great. We don't need to talk about them. They gambled on the portal and it paid off for them all year till their quarterback got hurt. And
and I think that really what hurt them. And in all seriousness, I think when he got hurt and then they came out and stunk it up, and then those recruits was like, the hell with this. We don't know if.
We ain't playing in this bowl game, and then Carson Beck in Georgia commenced to just putting belt to ass in that one. But anyway,
So
anyhow,
but Mario, like I say, he should be pretty active.
Mario. You don't hear much negative now.
No,
you was always hearing about he's not a great game day coach and he makes bad decisions and hey. He's been hitting home runs everywhere he go.
Yeah.
Every move he's made, he's hit a home run, a triple, a double, whether it's the portal, whether it's getting the line together. He hasn't made any – last season, he didn't make any coaching errors.
Right. No.
Maybe
no
timeout, maybe in one game, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm thinking. I can't put my finger on it, but he hasn't had any coaching blunders as far as clock management last season. I said with each season he's getting better.
Right.
He's going to improve that. And then also your staff has to be right along on the same page with that.
Right.
And
now, was the receiver you talking about Keelan Marion?
I think that's him.
Yeah. Out of BYU?
I believe that's him.
Yeah. Okay. Out of BYU, also being chased by Texas. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
See, that's huge, man.
Yeah, that is. It says the 94 we had Warren Sapp, Patrick Riley, second round Holmes, Kennard, first round arguably the second best D line since '89. 2001 would be third. That's his opinion. Juan Manuel. Not bad.
No.
I mean, it's all debatable. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. It says last week, Gio and Ahmad were talking about how the agent told Ahmad a certain kid who almost came to Miami was shopping around. I believe that kid to be Stone. He's coming. Yeah, I keep hearing that Stone is trending towards Miami, since he was already in a top 3 before he went to Oklahoma, which wasn't a shock because he was Oklahoma City kid. So, so things didn't work out there. And, hey, once somebody don't work out there, your next best choice kind of like, hey, I know I should have went with my first gut. He probably wanted to come here.
I'm hoping they get him. I'm like, man, they get this dude. You got at least 2 years with him and the other boy. What's his name that Miami got? Scott.
Somebody mentioned him earlier.
The other D tackle that played in rotation last year, and this year he gonna probably be the starter. Because they said this kid here has the potential to be a star like a Russell Maryland or a Cortez Kennedy, a Vince Wilfork type dude. You got him and Bain and Moten and Mesidor. There's a couple other guys already there. They deep at D-line. You get this boy from Oklahoma and get him shored in, man.
He says, he said Daryl Jackson is sniffing around for the right place, right price. Oh, right. I guess, yeah, right price. Will Mario pull the trigger? Daryl Jackson.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that Taggart boy out of Utah, linebacker. Harrison Taggart. I like him. The safety I was talking about, his name is AJ Halsey out of Houston.
Okay.
Big kid, 6 foot, 215 pounds. That's a big kid to play safety. They need to go after him.
Right.
So you got some depth. Him, Taggart. Like I said, it's some other receivers that are out there besides Pena. He playing the money game. What scared me about him is the money thing, and the reason why old boy got a coach named Fran up there, and he was
Fran.
He put him on blast.
Yeah,
he put him on blast.
Now, do you like that or you don't? Because I've been kind of like hearing guys talking about they don't like coaches going out there speaking on these guys, and then the other side is like he being himself.
Dude came in there making demands like, I want this amount of money, and old boy said, I ain't got that kind of money for you.
Right.
You put up some nice numbers, but when you get to questioning the scheme, when you get to question the coach about who you getting ready to bring in, who else you bring in, now you die.
You being nice, Eric. He said, unless you Travis Hunter, you can't come in and tell me you work TV.
Yeah, he did say that. He put old boy on blast.
He put him on blast.
Listen, he pretty much told old boy bye.
Yeah, if you ain't Travis Hunter, come on now.
Right. If you ain't Travis Hunter, you put it, I was putting it nicely.
Yeah.
If you ain't Travis Hunter, you can't come in here with that.
Right.
So he pretty much told him bye.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that coach for that. I'm not going to bow down to you because you put up some nice numbers. You put up nice numbers because you had a nice quarterback.
Right, yeah. And people forget that too.
People forget that. You had Ohio State's ex-quarterback.
Yeah.
The same Ohio State that threw him under the bus for the 23 season because of what happened with Michigan, instead of giving the blame to Ryan Day where it belonged. That's another subject.
Right.
So he come up, what was his name? Kyle McCord or whatever.
Yeah, McCord,
he go to Syracuse, and they got the #1 offense in college football. They took it from Miami. Ward had it for a minute with Miami. Then Syracuse took it. And Pena has a lot to do with it, but you ain't going to have that kind of quarterback this year. So where are you going to go? Where is he going to go? He's got some options, but I promise you, he ain't going to go into Lane Kiffin office with no demands.
Oh, hell no.
He ain't going to go up to Ohio State when they already got Jeremiah Smith or somebody else. He could probably fit in with somebody like a Penn State. He could probably fit in with somebody like maybe a Kansas. Yeah. He'd be a nice weapon for Kansas.
Because Kansas did lose. Didn't they quarterback go in the portal? Was it Kansas?
So too.
Yeah.
He may stay in the ACC. He may try to go in the SEC. Who knows? He might go to Texas Tech where they throw the ball a lot.
You know what shocked me? And I'm only speaking on this because we have to play them. I was shocked Stephen Jelly went in the portal for Notre Dame. I really thought he would win that job. But
they said Notre Dame might have a real true freshman be the starting quarterback when they play in Miami. Boy, that's
yeah.
Come on, man. Them boys need to be practicing all August, salivating like, y'all finna put up with this D line.
Yeah.
Even though they got a great O line, that's gonna be the game within the game.
Yeah.
The line of scrimmage battle with both of those teams is gonna be the game within the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Miami D-line against their O-line and their D-line against Miami. And their D-line is not Miami up against Miami's offense because supposedly they got the two best O-lines in the country, Miami and Notre Dame. So that's going to be the game within the game. I think Miami got the edge as far as skill players are concerned. I give Miami the edge possibly on defense. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
But the running game for sure. But if this dude is a true freshman at quarterback,
yeah,
if they can get after him early and often, it
yeah.
could set the tone for the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been here. Well, rumors is that Angeli's supposed to be going over to Tennessee. So we'll see how that
might
goes.
be. That might be a perfect situation for him to go to, because he's nice.
Yeah, he's nice. I like him. Yeah,
he's nice. I say,
he's
nice. I'm surprised he's leaving Notre Dame. I really am.
Yeah, it shocked me.
There's a D tackle in that's leaving that's leaving Army. That's leaving West Point. That's the biggest shocker of all to me, that you would leave a service academy to go in the portal. Now, keep in mind, Dwayne.
Yeah.
The West Point, Annapolis, the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, these aren't just like your regular universities. You have to have a letter of recommendation from your state representative or your senator from your state recommending that you be accepted into one of these military academies. You have to have the grades. And I ain't talking no 3.2. I think they got to have like a 3.7 or better. You got to have the highest of the test scores, ACT and SAT.
Right.
You got to be in the elite academic to be even considered to go to a military academy.
Right.
Let alone you a beast at the athletics. And when I heard this kid was going in the portal, I'm like, wait a minute. You went through all this to get appointed to West Point? They don't give scholarships for the academy.
Right.
I don't believe they give scholarships. You have to be accepted. I'm like, this dude leaving West Point to go to a regular school? And he put up some good numbers for Army. Remember, Army had a good team last year. Army was like 9-0 or 10-0 for a minute.
But it just tells you, like, most guys don't understand even dating back to
money. It's got to be money, because
it is, and that's what I'm going to say.
When you get out of it, I think it's the money, because when you get out of the academy, you got to give the military back at least 4 or 6 years.
Yeah, service and stuff like that.
So he would be a second lieutenant in the United States Army.
And that's what I was saying. People don't know guys like Pat Tillman that sacrifice. Like guys, or some of these guys, and I'm not saying, well, he actually didn't go to a service academy.
He didn't go to academy.
He went to Arizona State. But the point I'm saying that, some of these guys will sacrifice to leave. And you see a lot of guys at these services.
Got some real studs in the academy, man.
I'm saying
and you never hear about them again because they go on to have military careers in the Army, Navy, or Air Force.
That's a good question. I wish we could find out, or somebody digging that.
You finished, Mr. Dubé. I think it's, if I pronounce your name correctly, I think you have to go all 4 years and graduate from the academy. Then you owe the military back either 4 years or 6 years. I want to say it's 6 years, because they made a special. What was my man name that played for the Spurs, the center?
David Robinson.
He when he went to Annapolis in the Naval Academy, he shot up in height.
Yeah.
It said he was too tall to serve on a submarine. That's why he only had to do like 2 years. I don't know if he had to do any time in the Navy. They let him go. They made a special thing for him, provision or what, because of his height, that he didn't have to serve in the Navy, because he could never serve on a submarine or any ship for real, because he was just too damn tall.
Right.
But in this case, if this kid bounces after his second year, and I don't know how that works. I don't think he owes the military anything after that for those first 2 years. I don't know the ins and outs of that.
Yeah.
I just think
somebody they can put it in the chat, or somebody out there that knows.
I'm thinking this is strictly a monetary move, man, because they're probably telling this dude, look, man, you at your position, your projection, you're going to be, the way he was playing, at his pace, he's a first or second round draft pick in the NFL. Right. That's millions of dollars that the Army is not going to pay him to be an officer. So
and that's crazy, because
it's like, if you want to do this, if that's what you really want to do, maybe he went into the academy thinking, I want to be an officer and I'm just playing football. And then his skills went to the next level. They was like, even the Army might even be telling him, look, man.
Look, man.
We love the fact that you want to be an officer, but you're going to be playing on Sundays.
Hey, I would agree with you, but we talking about the U.S. government. That's another thing. They don't give a damn.
Look at my man. Look at my guy that went to Florida State. Now he's a Rhodes Scholar and he's a surgeon.
Rowe.
Yeah, he played in the secondary. He played a few years in the league.
Yeah.
I think he played for the Redskins, didn't he?
And then he left. I think he played maybe 2 years or what? Or did he even play? Did he go in the league?
I think he got drafted by somebody, but
he got drafted. I don't know if Role played.
He went to England and became a Rhodes Scholar, and that don't, hey man, that's something you don't pass up on in life.
Oh no, I agree. I totally agree.
Now that case, he is.
He said, Holt is the most likely in the bag. His coach at Houston is Etheridge. Some of Miami, rumored Miami is negotiating a big time outside receiver. Moore, Cam, Coleman, Noah Thomas, and Perry Thomas. Which you like?
Noah Thomas. That name sound familiar. Noah. Ain't one of them an ex-Florida State guy? I want to say one of these dudes. See, this is why we glad we got Google.
Right.
That's a shame, but hey, man.
Hey, we can't know everybody.
Right, can't know everybody. Busy, boy. Cam Coleman.
He said,
out of Auburn. 6'3", 197. He's out of Auburn.
Who was that?
Cam Coleman is out of Auburn.
And Noah Thomas, Texas A&M?
That's where he come from? Okay.
Yeah.
TJ Moore.
It says Noah Thomas's stats in 2024 was 39 receptions, 574 yards, 8 touchdowns. He averaged 14.7 yards a reception.
Oh, he from Key West, Florida. TJ Moore's out of Clemson.
Okay.
Boy, might come home.
Yeah, he might,
6'3", 200. Mario gonna get one of these dudes.
Yeah.
He might be the one leaning toward Miami because he from Key West. He might decide to come on back home.
Yeah. I agree.
I can't wait for this portal to be over. So man, I'm telling you.
How many more days we got? I was talking to a parent yesterday about the portal. I think his son trying to make his decision up by the end of this week. So it'll be interesting. Say getting a Rhodes Scholar is wild. Only 25 are given out each year in the U.S. Right. I grew up in Zimbabwe. Shout out to Zimbabwe. Share us over there. And we only had 2 per year. This guy must have been super smart. Oh, yeah. They say he was smart.
Dude was exceptional.
Yeah. And was a beast on the field. Hey, we don't shout out too many Florida State players, but
I'm gonna shout him out.
But he was balling.
He was a baller, and come on. It ends. Opens April 16th and it's over on the 25th. So this coming Friday.
Yeah, I'm finna say. I thought he said he was going to have his. Now I did hear some of the guys is over. But you could still declare after. But the problem is if you ain't declaring, some of these schools might take that offer off the table because, hey, that's true. First in, first out. You know what I'm saying? You talking about I'm going to look at another school. I'm moving on.
Man, I'm really optimistic, man. I'm even taking the caution down a little bit, a notch. I'm optimistic about this season because look at last year, man. Last year I predicted 10-2, 9-3.
Right.
They end up going 10-2. Could have very easily went 12-0. Could have very easily went 7-5.
Yeah.
With that terrible defense. Okay. Horrible. But I'm like, if they did all that, then it seemed like each year Mario was there, they got better. 5-7, 7-5, 10-2.
Right.
With each season, they cleaned up something to get that much better.
Right.
His first year, you saw some promises. They cleaned it up. The next year, they started out, 4-0 or 5-0, and then he didn't take a knee in the Georgia Tech game. You let the ref screw you.
Right.
Well, boy, arm was down before he fumbled it, but they still gave the ball back to Georgia Tech, and they end up winning the game. So they go 7-5, and then last year they go 10-2. Along the way, Mario has cleaned up a few things, either changed coordinators,
right,
cleaned up some of his clock management.
Yeah, he got better himself. Yep.
Didn't make any bonehead calls like not taking a knee.
Right.
Which I think, I don't know, man. Maybe that was a little bit of arrogance on his part.
Hey, maybe it says Moore was rumored to be considered the portal early this year, but from what he's heard, he's staying at Clemson. Yeah, not
He
really.
may stay. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't. He might stay. He may stay at Clemson, but if I didn't see anything that said he was out there.
right. It says the Admiral, David Robinson, could have served even with his height. Robinson was more valuable as an ambassador for the Navy in marketing and recruiting. I
That's
believe that.
true too. I just
Yeah,
remember hearing. I'm going way back. I
yeah,
just remember hearing they said he was too tall to serve on a submarine.
yeah,
He
and
really
it would be
couldn't
pretty big.
serve. He couldn't serve sea duty with his height. I mean,
Mm.
he shot up to like what? What was he like 6'10"?
Yeah, then he went to
He was, oh,
7'2",
he,
7'1".
he got over 7 foot. I'm tripping.
Yeah, he was 7'7", like 7'2", wasn't he?
Like 7'1".
7'1".
Shit, 6 foot tall in the Navy.
Right, right.
Dude was a whole foot taller than what you should have been. He definitely couldn't have been no submarine. He damn sure wasn't going. Have you seen the sleeping quarters for these dudes in the Navy, man? Especially
Yeah,
enlisted personnel.
he had to sleep standing up.
Oh, when they stack them beds in there, like
Yeah,
you got like 6 inches in front of your face before the next bunk. He couldn't have
yeah,
served. I don't think he could have served in the Navy. Not sea duty.
yeah.
Land wise, like he did what they wanted him to do. He was ambassador for the Navy.
Yeah,
He helped with Navy recruiting, but he wasn't about to get on no ship.
yeah. I couldn't see him out there at sea either for months at a time.
Not at 7 foot tall. Nope.
Oh man. Hey, we're gonna switch gears just for a quick second. And hold on, I say I think let's take this last statement here real quick before we switch gears. It says I think we'll go undefeated because we have another first round quarterback and talent on both sides has been upgraded. Mario is now plugging depth. We're ready to roll. And that's our thing. I always say it. I think Eric and I have talked about this in other lives, is that if the defense can just cut you down to 21 points a game, 24 to 21 points a game, that's a whole, you don't put as much pressure on your offense.
A part of me wants to ride with Martin and say, man, they could go undefeated this year. And a lot of it that first game of the year going to tell me a lot.
Yeah.
But then when they play Florida 3 weeks later, that's going to tell me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you can handle Florida with some of because you can't take them lightly, even if they coming in with some bums, even if they you at home, don't take them lightly.
Right.
Florida took Miami lightly last year in the home opener and got that ass beat.
Yeah. And I don't think Miami going to take them lightly because I think
Miami's going to take them lightly.
Yeah.
I think Mario is smart enough guy with his staff that they're going to each week, you get past Notre Dame, then you got 2 high school teams behind them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, them some tune-up games. You can get a lot of reps in for your freshmen and sophomores in the second half.
Right.
And now you looking at you playing the Gators, and they coming in with a chip on their shoulder because some of them guys are going to be left over from last year.
Right.
So you got Bethune-Cookman, and then South Florida comes to town. They're going to want a little get back too, but
right.
Then you got Florida. Then you got Florida State. And I'll be at the Louisville game October 17th. I'm going to that game. But they're going to have some battles at SMU. Syracuse coming to town. They need to really beat the crap.
I'm optimistic on making, or a little skeptical on making predictions. And like I said, I don't
want to make a prediction yet. I want to see how the practice. I want to see how this summer goes and see how the reporting goes on with the players only practices.
Right.
And Carson going out there and getting his timing down with these receivers and really throwing that ball so when they get into fall camp, that first week of August,
right,
the last weekend in July, whenever they start, then as the weeks go, they're gonna come out with no pads. The first few 3 practices, then they'll come out with upper zone, and then when they get into full pads and really get out there in that heat,
right,
and get some practice in that rain, then they're gonna do some on the indoor facility. I'm sure they switch it all up, but That's what I want to see. I want to see how they look after all that.
The biggest thing I always say I want to see, and it makes me think about at the beginning of the show, we talked about the Ring of Honor and things of that nature. And one thing we could say about, especially the defensive tackles and stuff that's all in the Ring of Honor, defensive line, offensive line, is the physicality of the guys that's in there. And that's what I'm waiting to see in the spring, in the summer and in the first game, is how physical this team is, because that's going to really set the tone. And I harp back on this, the team that was in the college football championship, arguably all of them was physical. They could pass the ball, but majority of them were physical teams. And I think that's going to be the tell when I look at this Hurricanes, when I start putting them in national competition, is the physicality that they're going to bring to, to the game. So
I think one more solid receiver, a tall outside receiver, would really that guy with the Liberty guy with Tony and Ray out there, and with Elijah Horton being what they're calling the ace weapon, along with that running game, I think Miami's offense is going to be very capable of putting up points.
Right. It says you have to realistically account for Mario 2 brain farts. Mario has.
That's why I said if he didn't really have a brain fart last year.
Yeah.
He did in 23 with not taking a knee.
Right.
I don't recall Mario making a mistake coaching wise.
Yeah, I wouldn't say nothing that cost him the game.
Maybe the Georgia Tech game, maybe. But that I would say would be more on Shannon Dawson. When Miami had that ball, I felt Miami was going to win that game.
Yeah.
They had the ball last. I'm like, I can't see Georgia Tech stopping them. They kind of got away from what they was doing in the first half. They got away from Arroyo, and he got hit from behind and fumbled the ball, and that's what cost the game. So, other than that, I don't see Mario making a mistake in that game. I don't think he made a mistake in the Syracuse game with clock management. People mad because he kicked a field goal instead of going for it on fourth.
Right.
In that case, I agree with him. Get the sure points.
Right.
Have some faith in your defense to get the ball back. So the offense, because Syracuse couldn't stop Miami, so he gambled and lost. Sometimes that happens when you go to the crap table or the roulette table. Sometimes you lose.
Yeah. And I think that's the criticism, because guys say, "Why have faith in the
That
defense?"
wasn't a brain fart. That was just every coach. It's not going to always go your way. That wasn't a brain fart. He didn't fuck up on a clock management issue. He didn't mess up on not taking a knee when he should have type of deal.
Right.
Mario has 2 games that will cost his team either not having it prepared on a game or decision.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. He didn't last year.
Right.
I think some people still got the hiccup from 2 years ago not taking a knee. And 3 years ago, the first time this first season, he had some bad clock management with timeouts in the second half and wasting timeouts early in the second half to where you didn't have them later. I think he's past that now, because just like your players evolve, your staff evolves over time. I think he has evolved as a coach to know now. And that's what you got football analysts for and all that. They help advise you when or when not to do this type of thing.
Right. And it says, I always defend Mario in 23 against Georgia Tech. People forge a certain QB. We had thrown a couple of turnovers.
That's true. True. That's true.
And my thing with the Mario thing is that it's always kind of like this. Now, we all know that the coach is everything goes to the coach, good or bad. But then I don't like how people cherry pick. Well, the defensive coordinator is bad, but then it's the coach's fault. So if the defensive coordinator
has Kirby Smart made bad decisions for Georgia? Yes.
Yeah.
Has old boy for Alabama, when he was coach there, did he have a couple of games they made some
Saban?
Yes. Against A&M, Ole Miss, yes.
Yeah.
Against Georgia, yes. Every coach out there is not going to be hell. Even Jimmy made mistakes.
Right.
Ellenberger made mistakes.
You just try to limit them over time.
Right. It takes time to.
And you get better. It says, are you telling me Mario is not ultimately responsible for the 21-0? I think you're talking about the comeback, wasn't it? Of the a loss, basically.
I'm not saying he's totally responsible for that. He ain't out there playing.
Right.
He ain't the one calling the plays on the defense. He ain't the one calling the plays on offense.
Right.
Shannon Dawson could get some of the blame. Why you take your foot off the gas on the offense? Lance Gidget could get some of the blame on the defense. Why didn't you gamble a little bit more and play a little bit more zone? You kept playing man, and you saw that their wide receivers was killing your cornerbacks on man. Fuck it, I'm gonna play a little zone because they was dumping them off out in the flats and wasn't nobody there because the wide receiver was taking the cornerback out of the picture.
Right.
Man.
Right.
Well, some of the blame could be with them. Yeah, ultimately, the boss gets all the blame.
Right. That's the point I'm making.
The general, the admiral, the general manager, the head supervisor on the shift, they're going to always get the ultimate blame because they're the ones ultimately responsible for everything.
All right.
If you're going to look at the Syracuse game, you up 21-0, you was killing them with the running game. Why you go away from that?
Yeah.
Why you take your foot off the gas when you had them like that?
And even in that game, it goes back to the point where you know your defense is not playing well. You need to run the ball. You got to start shortening the game up.
Shorten the game down, eat up some clock because you know they was quick strike, 3-step drop. McCord was letting it go, and hitting his receivers back to back because hey, I can't play with these dudes. So guess what? Lance Gidget should have did something different instead of running these stunts up front. That's on him running all these D-line stunts. Why didn't you run a cornerback blitz? Disguise it and run a corner blitz. Why didn't you run some zones when you got them in a third down and long situation? You played man, and then the running back run out to the flat, and guess what? There's nobody there.
And ultimately, Mario he understood. Why you think Gentry and them not there? Because Mario knew.
He understood that. Hey, so Mario atoned for that. Hey, man, look, I'm not saying Lance Gentry is a bad defensive coordinator that he don't, but guess what? It didn't work here.
Yeah.
It didn't work against these quick passing teams. And I'm going to say this again for everybody listening. You lost your two quarterbacks at safety.
Right.
Williams and Cam Kinchins. If you don't think them two dudes made a difference in 23, you are highly mistaken.
Right. Yeah.
Because that cost you in 24. You lost. They weren't the best safeties in college football, but they were above average, and you could have put them toward the top of the ACC as far as safety play concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lost them guys, and you lost a corner too, you lost a lot of your quarterback thinking mojo on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Because number 7 he wasn't that guy. Zaquan Patterson was cool.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to argue that you're wrong.
Right. I'm going to say this. We don't know what happens behind the scenes. I think sometimes he might have been on their ass on the sideline and we just didn't see it. We don't know. Too. Yeah, I don't know. Too. So I just don't know. In that
you in the heat of battle, I don't know what's being said down there.
Yeah.
All I know is the whole staff got replaced except for Jason Taylor. And Kevin.
Right. So, evidently it had to be a serious problem. So Georgia Tech last year was not prepared. Georgia Tech last year was not prepared. Mario in the Syracuse game, 21 should have had Martinez running the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree. There's no argument.
That's on Shannon Dawson. I think Shannon got caught up in the Kool-Aid of making Cam look too good.
Yeah.
Getting Cam his numbers instead of just saying, let's win this game. Cam can look good in the ACC title game.
Yeah. And sometimes, like you say.
But I mean, like I said, we not on the sidelines. We don't know what's going on. All I know is there were a number of factors that cost Miami both of those games.
Yeah. And
in between those games was it Wake Forest? And they didn't look so damn hot on defense.
You're right.
Okay. Right. When they ran that punt back, I just shook my head. I had to cut that shit off.
Hey, and the funny part,
I halftime score 14-13 or 14-10.
It was brutal.
I'm like, y'all struggling with these dudes? Come on, man.
And the funny part, when I look at that, it's like I understand what Emmanuel was saying, because But a lot of stuff we don't see behind the scenes. And that's where I kind of give Mario a little credit, because it's kind of like, you don't think he pissed off that they just going down the field in 3 plays scoring? And he looking at his D coordinator like, what the hell going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't, as fans, if we could see it, you know he could see it. And to me, they just didn't have the horses to go out there on defense and do what they needed to do last year. That's the debate that we always had. And you can have the best defensive schemes out there, but if you ain't got the horses to implement it, hey, that is what it is, you know.
Right.
So
it's some nice players out there in the portal, man. It's a lot of 3-stars. There's some 4-stars out there too. Cornerbacks. There's some other dudes out there, man. There's a lot of dudes out there. A lot of 3-stars. Few 4-stars. But it's a lot of cats out here in this portal, man. Wow.
Yeah. It's sometimes it makes you kind of wonder, like, some of these guys ain't gonna find a home. That's on the flip side.
They will, because all of them realize they're not gonna get no money, man.
Well, they'll find a home, but maybe not the home they want. That's what I
said, Dwayne. Some of these dudes just want to play. They love the game. Yeah. They know after the age of 22, I'm likely not to get drafted.
Right.
I'm likely not to get offered a contract to even make somebody's practice squad. So unless I go in the arena league, or I try to go into the where the Battle Hawks play, what's that, the USFL or whatever that league they call.
Whatever they switched it to, yeah.
If I Canada only takes so many American players in the Canadian Football League because they take mostly Canadian dudes, which they should.
Right.
So unless these guys are aspiring to do that, they know, hey man, I'm gonna be the general manager at Amazon, or I'm gonna be the whatever they majored in for whatever company they work for. This is gonna be my last few years of playing football.
Right.
And I just want to have fun and play football unless I want to go into coaching. Hey, you know, it's a blessing I can even play D1 football.
Yeah. So hey, make the best out of it.
You already top notch as it is compared to a D2 school or a D3 school. I mean, you see the level of talent even throughout the colleges, you know, all the way up to Division I, you know. Right. So a lot of these guys just want to play, man. Yeah. They want to get their last year or two in playing because they know, hey, unless a miracle happens, or unless I really want to pursue this, and if I don't get the NFL, I get an arena, or I get the league, the Battle Hawks in. It ain't the USFL. They merged with I think it's the UFL, United Football League or whatever.
Right.
Unless I do something like that or become a graduate student and go into coaching, I'm going to be probably like everybody else out here in the workforce, working for a major corporation, hopefully without majoring with my degree. So I can't blame guys for transferring if they want to play. I just want to play, man. Some dudes might transfer down to a smaller school just so they can play.
Yeah, and it's no knock either. I see guys knocking guys because they going back. But if you want to play, there's no shame in going
young,
back.
Man, you're not going to ever be 21 or 22 again.
Right.
All of us older guys. I was thinking about. I was looking at footballs yesterday at Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm like, man, I would love to organize a touch football game.
Oh shit!
I'm
not
like,
me.
see, how many guys our age would come on out just for some simple touch, one wrong move,
right? You
one
gotta work forever.
Motherfucker might be on crutches for a while. Because my mind says, "Oh man, I think I can go out there and do that." I'm like, man, you better
body like nah.
You better go to work, man. What's wrong?
Right. Hey, we gonna switch gears before we close this out. And I thought about, should I bring this up? But I know you watched the basketball game yesterday.
Actually, I didn't, bro.
Didn't
the Bulls slap the Lakers around?
Boy, the Lakers look like booty cheek out there, boy. They couldn't do nothing. They out there. They started off the game good, but
where was the game at?
It was at home. It was at their home. They played in LA.
Are you serious?
The funny thing, boy, I seen LeBron out there and he was crying over a foul, and they got a picture on his knees in front of the referee begging for the foul. I said, "Well, you can't make this up, can you?" I said, "Oh man, they out there. They can't play no defense.
117 to 95. Oh, they down. Oh, this the playoffs. That's right.
That's the playoffs. Yeah.
They in trouble, cuz.
Yeah.
They very well may get past Minnesota, but they do not want to see Denver.
A lot of people saying it was a one-off, but Lakers in trouble because what I saw from Minnesota was the same thing I seen when they beat the Nuggets. Was that last year? I think they knocked the Nuggets out. They play that defense. They up in your face. And the Lakers, they just could not handle that pressure. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the series, but I'm like, there's going to be a dogfight that a lot of people.
They don't want to see Oklahoma City or the Denver Nuggets in the second round.
Hell, they don't want to see Minnesota right now. Shit. That's the point I'm making.
I just want them to lose and be. I want them to lose so bad, and I hate to say Laker fan. Well, I used to be a Laker fan, but I want them to lose that way.
No, I just thought for sure you had seen the game, and
I didn't see the game. What I do yesterday, I was busy. I went shopping, and then I went to the movies last night, man.
Oh man! Well, anyway, if you get a chance to watch it, boy.
Now I see Oklahoma City is whooping. They whooping Memphis is at the half. They up by 33 on Memphis now.
Oh yeah,
32.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing. Memphis there. They ain't gonna be able to mess with them boys. So
I wonder how Golden State looked this year.
Nah, they putting a lot of that stuff is ESPN hype. Boy, they looking old out there. Shoot. Luka was looking old and slow. He crying. LeBron crying.
I mean, I don't expect Minnesota to win that series, but
one thing I tell you, Minnesota ain't scared. I can tell you that.
I even thought, okay, would they get Memphis first? But Memphis got Golden State because they're the bottom seed.
Right.
He got Golden State.
They'd have rather played Memphis than Minnesota. Yeah.
That's what we was like. If they at the barbershop, we was like, if they get Memphis in the first round, that'll propel them to the second round. But they didn't get Memphis. They end up getting
right.
And the Timberwolves ain't even got Anthony Towns anymore, and they still got with him
out there on their ass.
Well, Anthony Towns ain't even there now. Where did he end up going?
New York.
And the Knicks in the playoffs.
Yep, they won yesterday too.
I saw. Did I see that somewhere?
Yeah, they won. I watched a little bit of the game.
I did when I went to. I did see a little bit of that game.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up, guys. Hey, once again, we appreciate everybody out there.
Next weekend, we're going to know who.
Yeah, we're going to know. We're going to know some things by next weekend. Also, if you get a chance, share this video, hit that like button. And like I say, hey, try to get us out there. We're trying to build this channel up. Anything you want to say, E?
Hey, same thing. We appreciate the support. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We're trying to build this thing up. As like anything else, it has to evolve. It has to get better.
There's always one before we go. Well, this middle age guy. There's always one before we go.
Hey. Hold up.
All right.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
I'm laughing at that one because I'm thinking about it. I asked a buddy that's a Laker fan. I say, "Hey man, did you get LeBron down?" He said, "Yeah, man, I got two." And I looked at him like, "That ain't cool, man." Said you got two LeBron down. I was like, "All right, man." Oh man.
You just say right. I know it's clear on there.
I was just holding still saying y'all got any more superstars. Oh man.
Next, since he's setting all these records and all this, he's setting all these records, and this is gonna be the new logo.
Oh hell no.
That's gonna be the new NBA logo, the flap.
Oh man, the flop. Oh Lord.
I ain't gonna talk about LeCarn no more on Miami Hurricane. This is all about the U.
Hey,
everybody, I'm looking forward to next weekend because next weekend we're gonna know who Miami got out of this portal. I think this is a very important portal, this spring portal.
Yes, sir.
Important. I think this is important pieces. Wide receiver, safety, linebacker, and definitely that D tackle out of Oklahoma. If Mario can get 2 out of the 4, which I think he will, I know, Rodney. I ain't wrong. No, I ain't wrong. Your boy wrong for catching that little bit of a whiff from Jason Tatum a few weeks ago on Saturday and falling all out and not coming back in the game. He was wrong for that. He was wrong for letting Draymond punk him a little bit, and he crying and flopping on the floor.
And he also wrong for having a doll too, man. Come on.
Anyway,
he could make an action figure, but go ahead.
Right. Come on, man. You gonna make one for Kobe. Rest in peace. But anyway, this portal class is very important. And I think if he gets a couple of these pieces in this portal class, it'll solidify some positions on both sides of the ball, and it'll catapult this team into the summer practices with the team, the players only practice, and to get them ready to fall camp.
Yes, sir.
And I really think my go-to guys for me would be that D tackle, a big-time receiver. I'd go after that Taggart kid out of BYU. That's a linebacker. Definitely go after him. You got some edge guys out there, but Miami don't need edge players. They're deep at edge. They're deep at defensive end.
Right.
The D tackle,
safety. I always say they still probably need a safety.
He's got some good stats out of Houston. He's a really good tackler in the open field. Yeah. He comes down in the box. He was good against the run. He reminds me of that Williams kid. His ferocity is ferocity. Okay, he's a really good tackler in the open field for a safety. I'd go after him, the kid out of Oklahoma, a big-time receiver, either the Clemson kid or the Auburn kid. And
you see how it falls.
See how it falls, man. I got faith in Mario and his staff. They know what they're doing. That's why they get paid to do what they do.
Right.
They know what they're doing, and I'm not worried about them at all. They're going to get what they got to get, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. And then now go into the summer and into fall practice. I don't want to rush it because, hey, summer's just beginning and we all got things we want to do this summer. I'm not in that big a hurry to get to the fall. Spring just getting here.
Let's start. So by the end of this next week, we're gonna have some answers.
Have plenty to talk about in a week.
Yes, sir. All right, there. We out of here, guys. We appreciate your support. We out. It's all about you, baby.
It's all about you.